everybody. My name is Nick Turner. I'm the chair of the Chartered Clubs Committee, and this is the Tuesday, September 30th meeting. Those of you who are able, please join me and stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We do have a quorum. We have one member of our committee who is absent today. She has an excused absence, but the rest of the committee are here, and so we have a quorum. And my first duty is to read the meeting procedure statement. The Governing Board and its committees conduct all of their meetings in compliance with Arizona Planned Community Association open meeting laws per ARS 33-1804 and in concert with Recreation Centre of Sun City West bylaws, policies and standing rules. Parliamentary procedures, as outlined in the most recent edition of Robert's Rules of Order, will also be followed in all meetings as appropriate, consistent with Bylaw 3.07, procedures for owner-member meetings, and standing rules number 2 and number 3. If anybody would like to know where we do this at the beginning of every meeting, I can explain afterwards if you wish. Our first item on the agenda under number 2 is the approval of minutes from the September 2nd meeting. I look to the committee here. Does anybody have any objections or changes, amendments to those minutes? No? If not, and I see none, those meetings are approved and accepted. Moving on to item 3 on the agenda, reports. First up, Recreation Manager Casey.
Thanks, Nick. I'm pretty much always going to have a save the date, so here's some save the dates for you all. October 22nd is newcomers. Again, 80 clubs, charter clubs, did RSVP, so that's a great job. Treasurers meeting, December 5th. That is very highly encouraged for your treasurers to attend. And then officers meeting next month. Well, okay, it's still September, isn't it? In November, I'll have specific dates for you for each category. And then we are having our second newcomers in February next year. So moving on. And then many of you probably saw this a couple weeks ago. We decided to expand to Sundays during club operation hours. So we've had a couple of clubs already reach out to Laura and Donna and scheduled their Sundays, and it does start effectively October 5th, which is next Monday. So if you have any questions, you can reach out to Laura for that as well. And you can see that it'll be from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Sundays, and that's throughout all the facilities. Next, I have a lot of people that new presidents, I should say, that seem to have some confusion with RRMPs and bylaws. So I kind of just want to go over what all of this is. Your guys' chartered club bylaws supersede all of your club policies. So if you must wear a name badge, that comes from your policies. That doesn't come from bylaws. And then the RRMPs, rules, regulations, and procedures, those supersede your club bylaws. So anything that might be in your bylaws that seems to be missing, go to the RRMPs, and I bet you it's in there. Meetings, voting, stuff like that. And then finally, for general policies, when we get down to my third example, you'll understand why I put that in here. General policies supersede the RRMPs. So just kind of want to go over this. So here's my examples for each one. For charter club operations and meetings, one thing that it's occurred in one club, but now it's become a domino effect, and we're finding that it's happening in a lot of clubs, is that clubs are required to post their agendas online 48 hours in advance. So just make sure you are doing that. That is in your bylaws. Okay, moving on. And then in the RRMPs, we have in Chapter 11, under safety, is club monitoring. We do require all clubs to monitor. So if you don't have anything put in effect for that, let me know. We can come up with some answers and figure out how we can help you through that. And then finally, general policies. This is LO4. This is not stated in the RRMPs, nor is it in your bylaws, but I just highlighted the part that I'm really focusing on is political activity within any rec center building, chartered club space, or cardholder only outdoor spaces is strictly prohibited. I've had a lot of clubs ask what the policy is, so I just kind of want to go over. You're not going to find this in the RRMPs. You're going to find it in general, general policies. So I just kind of wanted to go over where I'm getting this information from so that you can relay that to your club members. Okay? That's it.
Okay. Any questions from the committee for Casey? No? Any questions from the audience for Casey? No? Okay. Oh, sorry. If you do have a question, could you come to the microphone, please, so that we can hear you and the audience on YouTube can hear you too? And if you could give us your name and your rec card number, please.
Under my rec card number, I'm Florence Miller, the number 142304, and I'm with the Desert Garden Club. And so my question for monitoring, we don't have monitors. Is that something we should be addressing?
Yeah, every club is completely different, so there's a different process for monitoring. I think it'd be good for me to go see how you guys operate. I'm sure somebody is constantly watching your greenhouse for the most part, open and close, stuff like that. So those are some things I can come and see what you guys do and see if we can make it better or if it's in compliance.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thanks, Julie.
I'd just like to echo some of the things that Casey has said and point out on those meetings. The annual treasurers meeting is a very well attended event. It's if we allowed standing in this room, it would probably reach the point where there is standing room only. But that's also video recorded and the materials are available. But I highly recommend any new treasurers or treasurers-elect that may be taking office in January attend that meeting, because that is it's very informative and very useful. Similarly, for new officers, to go to those officers' meetings in January is also very useful. You'll pick up some background, you'll meet some people, and you get to know a little bit more about what it's like being a club officer. Right, moving on to 302, liaison reports. We didn't have any of these last month because everybody was new, and I doubt that any of you have met any of your clubs for which you're liaisons. But we'll start down at the right-hand end here because we've got two returnees to the committee who've been through this before. We can start with their reports. Nancy. Oh, first of all, tell us which clubs you are the liaisons for, which group of clubs as you begin your reports.
I'm working with Cheryl Tyler, who's not here. And we have been given the joy of seeing all of the Arts and Crafts Club. So we are putting together a list of questions like Denise and I did last year with social clubs, so that everyone's asked the same question. The ground is fair for everybody. And Cheryl will be back next week, and we'll begin making some appointments to go see people. So here it goes. Let the rodeo begin.
Thank you. David?
I'm in the process of reaching out to all the presidents of all the clubs. Pat and I have split the sports clubs, and I have all of the card clubs, which I had last year, and there was only one change of president this year from last year, and I play softball with him. So, and I have had or talked to two presidents about issues that one is ongoing, the other was resolved. But anyway, I have talked to a couple of the presidents, and like I said, I'm in the process of reaching out to the other ones to assess if they have any problems or anything that we can help them with. Thanks.
Denise?
I have the social clubs, and I recently reached out to the president, sent out an email, and I am actually attending 2 meetings next week. So looking forward to hearing from the other presidents of the social clubs so I can set up a date that we can get together.
Kathy?
I have dance and fitness. I sent emails to all the club presidents, and I've communicated with all of them. One today, thank you. One will be following up with a phone call, but I've met with them, and I've attended some of their classes, some of their membership drives, and have sat down with them, and I only have one left. And what I'm finding is the more you learn about Sun City West, the more impressed you are with the clubs we have, and particularly the club presidents and the boards and all the volunteers. They work so hard, and their work is very much appreciated, and they're so professional and so dedicated, not just to our fitness, but to our well-being and the social aspect, where, you know, if you miss a class, somebody might miss you and send you a text and say, is everything okay, or how was your visit with your grandson? It's a lovely, warm feeling. It's more than just a fitness thing. So I'm very happy to be part of this committee and very happy to be involved. I'll be joining 2 new clubs too. So thank you.
Thank you. Matt?
I have half the sports clubs. I've reached out to all of them, and we sort of decided to wait a little while to get together until more people are back so I can see more things actually happening instead of people that are just gone for now. So, but I have reached out to all of them and be working on that.
Thank you. And John?
Yeah, hi. I have the hobbies clubs, and so far I've talked to the chair of the computer group, Norm, and of course I know the gentleman from the auto restoration club. That's as far as I've gotten so far.
Okay.
Hope to have more next month.
Okay, good. Thank you. For those who are unfamiliar, we have these updates every month. And, you know, also as liaisons, if you have anything that you think is particularly difficult, don't forget to reach out to me and to Casey. So moving on to new business. Item 1 of new business is going to be a presentation from our tennis club, led here by Joel Piaskowski. I will just give a little bit of a quick background before Joel starts. This is a request to be able to host a tournament. Now, normally those of you who are in sports clubs will know, well, hang on a minute, don't you fill out a form and send that to Casey? The answer to that is normally yes, but this is rather similar to the Bowls USA US Open that we're hosting in the fall, in that this tournament is not actually organized by the club, but it's actually organized by the USTA. And as a result of that, our kind of process, our normal behavior is that would need to be approved by the governing board. And so this is the first step where the tennis club comes here to the Charter Clubs Committee, asks for our recommendation, and then it will move forward to the governing board. So having said that, if we can bring up Joel's presentation. And Joel will no doubt be also introducing our guest.
Yes, good. Thank you, everyone. As Nick said, my name's Joel Piaskowski. I'm with the Sun City West Tennis Club. I'm here representing the USA Tennis, or the Sun City West Tennis Club. Also joining me today in the front row here is Mr. Matt Gleason. Matt is the managing director for the Southwest region of the United States Tennis Association for adult play. So Matt has one slide he'll just talk about a little bit. Obviously at the end, if there are any questions that I can't specifically answer, Matt is here to answer them on behalf of the USTA. Okay. How do we get that pushed up a little bit? Okay, there we go. Why are we here today? The Sun City West Tennis Club is asking the Charter Club Committee to recommend to the governing board that the Southwest region of the United States Tennis Association be allowed to hold a sectional tennis tournament at our court complex. Okay? Second point on there, this is very, very similar, if not identical, to what Nick had talked about, the International Lawn Bowling Tournament that is, again, going to be held here and has been held here for a number of years. Okay? What caused this? Why are we here today? in March, we held our 38th annual Swing into Spring Senior Charity Tennis Tournament. It's one of the things that the tennis club does every year. It's a big fundraiser for us, but all of the money that we make from that goes to the community. For the last 3 years in a row, we have given checks to the Posse and to the Prides in the amount of $4,000 to each of those organizations for the last several years. Okay? Thank you. So what happened, the USTA, all right, we invited them to come out to our tournament. No one had done that for a number of years, but we thought it would be important for them to come out, see the tournament, bring their tent out, obviously try and sign up some, new members to join the USTA. Bottom line, after they came out, saw our court complex, they were extremely impressed, and they came back to us and said, what are the chances that we could hold a sectional tournament here? So I said, well, let's find that out. So that's what brings us here today, okay? On the bottom, you see some potential dates, and yes, you're seeing the year 2027. That is how far in advance the USTA sets their tournaments, has them running. So, it is something, though, that they're going to need from us, approval on this year. It can't wait till 2026, okay? All right, now I get to push the button. Okay, and if we could bring that up just a little bit. And Matt, I'm going to let you just very briefly talk about the USTA.
Yeah, like he's got in the big bold red. Our mission is 35 million players by 2035, so 35 by 35, and we're looking pretty good. So tennis, even though some people say pickleball is kind of dominating, killing tennis, it's not killing tennis at all. Tennis is still booming. We got red ball tennis that Joel just got started here. That's been super successful. So tennis is still cranking away, and the U.S. Open that just happened in New York was the largest ever of all time. So tennis is still incredibly, incredibly popular. And yeah, as Joel mentioned, I wasn't here for the charity event, but I first came here, it was back like in 2017, 2018. To help get a world team tennis program started here. And when I came out for that, I was immediately blown away by the tennis center. It is a perfect spot to host a high-end USTA sectional type tournament or a regional type tournament. It's just the perfect layout, and it's just a gorgeous facility. So when we got to talking again, that's kind of what has brought me here, in hopes that maybe by 2027, early 2027, we might be able to do just that. So we appreciate you considering it, and hopefully we can make something happen.
Great, thank you, Matt. Good. Can we just scroll the slide up just a little bit up there? So just a couple of things on the bottom here that I just wanted to point out, because it is a lot of activity as far as tournaments. The Southwest region, or section as they call it, made up of that geographic area. On an annual basis, they hold 43 tournaments, which is not far away from, one every week. And they hold 16 tournaments in the Phoenix area here. Okay? All right, push the button. Okay, all right. So let's talk about this thing, because obviously there are a lot of responsibilities and ownership for any type of a tournament or big event that happens, okay? I want to start with the USTA Southwest region and their responsibilities. Number one, the planning and promotion of the tournament. Number two, tournament management, registration. They handle all of that. We don't have to touch anything. Tournament hospitality, they take care of all that. The daily operations of all of the tournament matches, registering, making sure everybody's on court, everything, they do all that. Our CSCW or the tennis club does not have to touch anything. No involvement, okay? One other thing I do want to mention on there, also one of the responsibilities that we've taken care of is the insurance liability for these people who would be coming to play. And again, very similar to, the lawn bowling thing, these are people that are coming from, outside of the city, other states, but we've got the insurance liability all taken care of, okay? What are the tennis club's responsibilities? Up to this point, we had two responsibilities. One was to make sure that our board approved this, and also that the members of our tennis club approved this as something that they all wanted to do, and that has happened, okay? Also, if needed, and they have told us, no, we got this all covered, but we certainly can provide some volunteers. We're willing to do it. We've got a lot of people in the tennis club that are eager to volunteer for this tournament, okay? Bottom one, and if we can just pull that up, just if it can come up a little bit more, what are the real responsibilities of our CSCW? We would ask that our tennis courts get cleaned before the tournament, okay, which they do right now, okay? And then also, if needed, to simply provide some additional chairs, tables, and garbage cans, okay? So that's the entire responsibility of our CSCW, okay? Now I know that everyone here, including everyone on the Chartered Clubs Committee here, and by the way, I wanted to mention, I appreciate what you do. I understand what you do, because 4 years ago, Denise, I sat in your chair for a year. I was on the Chartered Club Committee, so thank you. I know you're asking yourselves, why do we want to do this? If we could scroll this up just a little bit, please. Okay. Number one, probably most important, positive exposure for Sun City West and our CSCW. When you as a community can host an event for a major sports organization, very similar to lawn bowling, it is nothing but positive exposure for the community. Number two, will generate local hospitality and tourism revenue. These are people coming, yes, they got to stay somewhere. Not that we have a lot of hotels here in Sun City West, but we certainly do have restaurants, grocery stores, gas stations, so it certainly can bring in some revenue. Third point, there is revenue for our CSCW. As a standard operating practice, the USTA does pay communities when they are using their complex. They have a formula. It's based upon number of players and number of matches. In talking with Matt, though, just an estimate, folks, somewhere around $1,500 to $2,000 that the USTA would pay our CSCW. Okay. Number four, these people are coming in from around the country. Very similar, again, to the lawn bowling. Exposure for potential home buyers and people moving here. They come here, they see the court complex, they're going to see other things, and wow, what a great community. I might consider moving here. Okay? Ability to host, all right? Due to the quality of this tennis court complex that we have here, which is I'm going to say it's the best in the West Valley. People would argue with me, there's the big Surprise tennis complex, but the point being, because of the awesome complex we have here, we're able to do this, all right? Great event for Sun City West and surrounding communities to see. People who are not tennis players, all right, may come to see it. The surrounding communities, and I know a lot of people in those communities and tennis clubs, the Grand, Sun City, Portobello. If you're a tennis rat, you love to go to tournaments, especially that are in your area, okay? So it's going to be great for the surrounding communities to come see us also. Last point on here, very simply, Matt talked about it, but by doing this, we're helping in the growth of not only the tennis club, but tennis in general to hit that 35 in 2035. Could we scroll that up or down a little? Just, how about up? There we go. Okay, in conclusion, on behalf of the USTA and Matt and the tennis club, we thank you very much for listening to our proposal. And with that in mind, we would certainly ask that the Chartered Club Committee recommend this to be moving on. So for those of you who don't know, this is our awesome tennis facility, all right? The tennis club really believes that this should move forward to demonstrate what a forward-looking community Sun City West is. So we thank you for your time. Are there any questions from anyone on the Chartered Club Committee?
It is a beautiful facility. I got to walk through the other day, and it was very. Do you have any idea how many players and spectators that we would count on? Any estimates at all?
So the tournament that I'm kind of looking at doing, they're kind of new. There are 70, it's the 70 and over, it's called the 70 and over multi-state league tournament. So it's a league team, so it's a team event. And the ones that are going on right now, looking at 200 to 300 players. And then spectators, well, I mean, you'd have the players that aren't on the court playing, watching their teammates, and then whoever from the community can come on out and stuff like that. So it's free to come spectate. We don't charge for that.
So then part of the build-out would be some extra bleachers, some viewing seats that don't currently exist there
If that's
today?
possible, yeah.
Yeah, potentially.
All right. Are you planning to have any food, beverage, or
Yeah,
retail
so the
stations?
tournament would provide lunch. The tournament would be like 2.5 days long, 3 days. And the first 2 days of the tournament, we provide lunches to all the players. The last day of the tournament, we try to finish early in the day so that people can catch flights if they're flying out. So we typically don't provide lunch the last day. And maybe the very first night or the night before the tournament started, we would do some sort of like a captain's social, maybe a player social, something like that. So we try to make it as social an event as
So
possible.
you'll be using up all of the courts? Is that correct?
Potentially.
Potentially.
It just kind of depends on how many teams we take, if we have to limit the number of teams based on how many courts we can get, stuff like that, so.
So
It would be the majority of
It would be, all right. So any residents, because that would be our peak season, any residents that want to play would have to look at Kuntz. Potentially, do I bring up Kuntz?
Residents that would want to play.
27.
Casual tennis at the same time as the tournament's going on, so would members of the tennis club be able to go in and use a couple of courts just for a...
We probably could keep court 16 open, which is a court that we use for our ball machine. I mean, Kuntz is an option, but as far as our tennis club members, you know, we've made it very clear to them, you know, when this tournament's going on, okay, you may not have courts to play on. They were all good with that. All right. And from being on the courts and being an active tennis club member, the fact that 5-6 people just from the community would want to show up and play tennis.
Very small, okay. All right. And then on the potential revenue side, you talked 1,500 to 2,000. Is that per tournament or for the entire 3 tournaments?
Oh, good question. It's just per tournament. And the dates that were up on that first slide, they're not asking us for all 3 dates. They just want one of the
Those
dates.
are just options.
Yeah, those are options to when they can do it. So it's not 3 tournaments. It's not 3, you know, times that we're going to be taking up all the courts. They just want one of them.
So that would be up to Casey and her team to determine if they can offset the extra expense and cleanup and stuff with the income. That would be yours. That's all, thank you.
Okay. Denise, did you have
Denise?
a question?
Actually, Kathy covered a couple of the questions I had, but I was gonna ask about cleanup after. Like, that would be the
Well, the other,
responsibility.
right. So, I mean, you know, there are the facility staff that are down there currently, okay? We can certainly, and I know the tennis club has a lot of people, because we had all of the volunteers when we did our Swing in the Spring tournament, which was a 4-day tournament with lots of people. And we have volunteers within the tennis club that, you know, volunteer to clean up after every night, and we can get that again to support the facility staff down there if needed.
And just one other question, it's probably a comment more than a question. I noticed on there on your growth, you specifically said Hispanics, Latinos, and Black. Why? Why not just say total growth?
Well, because I took that off of the USTA national website, And those communities, all right, are communities that the USTA is looking, to expand and grow in, and
Okay.
they've offered it to those communities, and those communities have grasped onto tennis as a game for the rest of their life, and so that's why that was just mentioned.
Okay. Thank you.
When you enter the tennis courts, you do walk by the 2 dog parks. And so I'm just thinking that we want to make sure the residents know when they bring their dogs to keep them leashed and be aware there'll be extra noise, people, and maybe some more barking, that's all. Yes?
So if this gets approved, we have plenty of time to kind of find all those obstacles, clean up, all that kind of stuff. But we would absolutely be putting up early signage to let them know what's going on, as we do with lawn bowling because of parking. So just so everybody knows that we definitely get the word out there, especially to the regular users that would be in that area for traffic. They'll see that. So we're on board with making sure that we're as communicative with all the other residents as well.
And we'll make sure nobody brings a high-pitched whistle. Yes, Sandra.
It's very nice. I appreciate the fact that they said they'll pay somewhere between $1,500 and $2,000. Okay, I was just saying I appreciate very much that they said they would pay $1,500 to $2,000, depending on to use the facility. But yet, when I think about that, if we're Sun City West, rec centers are required to supply tables, chairs, bleachers, will that money be enough? Because I don't feel like we should pay to have them be here. That would be just my concern. Oh, also bathrooms. Are they going to bring in their own J-Johns or?
No, not at all. And the reason being, I met with Nick about the lawn bowling tournament, and they had porta potties. And I asked Nick, were those really used and essential? And he said no. So we've got, the 2 bathrooms at the tennis courts. They can walk across the parking lot. There are bathrooms at, where bocce ball is, and also the pool. So they can walk over there. We thought about that. I asked Nick, and again, I'm going to very similar types of events.
Yeah,
And I'm not trying to throw Nick under the bus.
No.
I just candidly asked him. I said, "You had porta potties. Did you use them? Did you need them?"
The answer is no, but the issue over at lawn bowling is they have had sewer line issues there, and we'd hate to have the embarrassment of a blocked sewer line, which is why the porta potties are there. That if you don't have those issues with your restrooms down at the tennis, then it's a different issue.
Any other questions?
Nancy.
Who's going to officiate all of this? You guys have volunteers in the club, or do you come in with your officiating crew?
Oh, we bring officials. You mean the on-court officials, referees?
Yeah.
We supply those.
And are you going to need a golden retriever to catch balls that go over the fence?
I got it. I'd take a dozen of them.
Yeah. We can keep the dog people happy.
Yeah.
If you guys just hit a lot of balls out. I think
Or we can give them the used ones after the tournament.
yeah, they'd be happy.
All the used balls stay with you guys.
I think it's a really good idea, so I hope that it moves forward.
Any more questions from the committee? Are there any questions from the audience?
When I win, do I get a trophy?
Sure do.
Yeah, I don't see any questions from the audience, and I don't see any questions online. If you are watching online and you want to ask a question, please type in your rec card number and your name, and type in your question. And you are on a delay. You're seeing things about 30 seconds after they happen, so please be patient with us. I don't see any more questions, so I have a question now for the committee here. Do we need any more additional comments rather than questions? Any discussion that the committee needs? So I will ask the committee, are you ready or feel ready to make a recommendation to either support the tournament or not support the tournament, so that when this comes before the governing board, I can pass on that recommendation? Do you feel ready to do that? Okay. The question I will ask then is, Matt, would you recommend that the USTA, through the tennis club, be able to host this tournament here in Sun City West?
Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Matt?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Now, that is a majority, so the Charter Clubs Committee will recommend to the governing board that we do this. I will ask President Novello to put this onto the agenda for the governing board workshop, which I believe is October 10th.
Okay.
So, and then we'll be in touch about what presentation or information that the governing board may need at that time.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Good, great. Thank you all very much.
Thank you. Thank you. So, moving on to the next item on the agenda, which is the Properties Committee tours. As the committee is aware, every year the Properties Committee goes on inspection tours of all of our recreation centres and facilities, and while they're doing that, they pay particular attention to the capital projects which are upcoming in the upcoming budget for the 26-27 budget, and they also have a look and peer into dark and dusty corners, of which, looking at Sabrina, there are not many dusty corners over there, so they are keeping those facilities clean, and spot anything which might need any repair or maintenance that might have been overlooked elsewhere. Because we on the Chartered Clubs Committee are involved in making recommendations about some capital expenditures which are related to chartered clubs, we get invited to go on those tours. And this morning, a few of us were able to go for a tour of Palm Ridge, which was interesting and fun. I enjoy them, but that's the way I am. But that moves me into just the process, if you like, for those upcoming capital spending requests and our recommendation. They come in two groups, new and repair and replacement. And at this time of year, we discuss the new ones, and new ones which are relevant to chartered clubs, hence the next item on the agenda. And then the repair and replacement items we will be discussing and making recommendations on in the February timeframe. Now, some of those items that will be coming up in repair and replacement, it's usually a good thing to have been on the tours of the recreation centres if you can make it, because you'll have a picture in your mind of that recreation centre and perhaps the project itself. So, the schedule has been attached to the agenda. I think I also shared it with you last time. If you are able to make those tours, I would recommend it. It's not required, but I would recommend it. In the past, I noticed that there was one item where the committee in previous years was divided on one capital request, and it suddenly occurred to me is that the members of the committee who'd been to the recreation centre and seen the facility concerned were all in favour of spending the money, and those who hadn't been and seen it were against it. So it is useful to actually go and have a look at these things. So, any questions on the tours?
I have a comment.
Yeah, Kathy.
We did Palm Ridge this morning, and the restoration on the floor is stunning. It's just beautiful. And I know they also did the social hall. It's wonderful. And then I want to thank also the team. I think they put some Bluetooth in, and our music is much better. Got a nod over there as well. So I want to thank the efforts from the facilities team to make it clean and safe for all of us.
Thank you. Any more comments, questions? Nope. So, moving on to item 403, the ARC Automotive Restoration Club, and the building expansion request. This is a topic which is not only coming before us, but also the Properties Committee and Budget and Finance Committee. And in order to help speed things along and avoid a lot of repetition, with not having the Auto Restoration Club do the same presentation and answer the same questions 3 or even 6 times before the committees. So we had a small group session a couple of weeks ago with representatives from each of those three committees, and from the Recreation Centre, the projects team and so on, and members of the club. We all met. We asked lots of questions. We had the presentation from the Auto Restoration Club, and those materials were shared with this committee in advance. And I also have some notes as well that I made at the meeting, which I shared with you. For those of you who are interested, that's also attached to the agenda. We had a good meeting. We had lots of questions. It was a good discussion. One of the other things that came up was, can we have a site visit? Because the Properties Committee tour for that part of R.H. Johnson is several weeks away. So the Auto Restoration Club were kind enough to host the group over there for 30 minutes to show us the building. So we saw the whole building as well as the area where this project will take effect. So I know that we've had questions about the steps and the upstairs storage area and how does all that work. So we were able to see that, and it's as safe as they can make it, but it's not perfectly safe. And so this project will include things like a expanded storage area and proper staircase. So what I'd like to do now, having given you folks time to look at the materials, look at the presentation, and read through, is to ask any questions that you might have of the Auto Restoration Club, and we have a couple of representatives there as well. If you gentlemen would like to come down to the front, they can answer any questions that you may have, and similarly any questions from the audience, and then we'll have a discussion if necessary amongst ourselves. So, yes, Pat.
Is the site visit scheduled for Monday, the 22nd? Is that October 22nd?
No,
Or was
that's
the one that you
yes.
that you attended?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it was
So
last.
there's not going to be another.
The next, if you like, scheduled opportunity for a site visit is on the Properties Committee tour. But if you wanted to take time out and go over there, we can ask the club representatives, and they could schedule something if other members wanted to go over and have a look before making a final decision. Yeah, so, sorry. Yeah, any questions from the committee or comments? Kathy?
I got a chance to talk to the gentleman before, just some clarification on the timeline, and that your construction would start sometime around third quarter of 26. Initially on your club meeting, you said sometime in 27, but you've moved that forward.
Carl Wilhelm informed us that if we paid for the architectural plans in advance, we'd be on the cycle to have groundbreaking as early as October of next year.
Okay. Can you describe what the outside structure is going to look like? And are you going to follow the circular small wall?
It's basically the same pattern that exists out in front of the building with that circular. That would be a glass enclosed, looks like an auto showroom. It would add a space for the rec centers of Sun City West to control, a small meeting room, a larger office for the Automotive Restoration Club, and a lot of more storage that were sorely needed.
So the office and the conference room will belong to the club, and then the meeting space will be booked through the rec center.
We would hope that the rec center would control that meeting space and also pay for that space as well to help us out with financing.
So the meeting space, the total space now is 2,100 square feet, and then when you build out your office and your conference room, what do you estimate the actual meeting space to be? Around 1,300 square feet or something?
The meeting space, as I look at the diagram, would be approximately about 15 by 20, something like that. It's not a huge space, but it'd be a nice conference room or small meeting room for clubs.
Oh, okay. So how much glass will be outside from the
Just
circle?
that, just where the circular wall is right now.
Right.
That would be glass enclosed right there.
How high up?
The wall will remain about 2 feet up, and then
Okay.
glass would be probably 8 feet and another 2 feet above that. So the panels, it's not gonna be curved glass. It'll be panels of 2-foot sections
Oh, okay.
in that area.
Okay. Is there any way to darken it? Because where that facility is right now, you're going to get some midday and afternoon sun. So do you have a way of blocking the sun for meetings?
We'll have tempered glass, of course, on
Okay.
that glass, and we'll have skylights above as well.
How many skylights? Large ones?
I have not seen
Okay.
the final diagram, but the architect, that was one of our requirements. We told the architect.
So the meeting attendees would have to come back into your facility and to use the restrooms, is that correct?
If somebody's using the conference room, our restrooms would be available. The architect informed us based on the meeting room size, it would not require additional restrooms. So we're not looking at additional plumbing in that addition.
Can you tell us about the current restrooms? How many stalls, men and women?
There are 2 restrooms, a male and a female, 1 stall each.
A single each one?
Yes, ma'am.
So you might be under bathroomed a little bit if you had a group of 20 plus your
I don't
club
know
members?
what the architects used for the requirements, but he told us that was sufficient.
Mhm. And will your current air conditioning and heating system work, or do you have to?
The architect told us that he would not try to tie into the existing air conditioning. He would have new air conditioning on top of that, the first phase of the building.
And the conference room, that would be exclusively for the club members? It wouldn't be something that would be booked by the rec center, is that correct?
Conference room, we're saying, is going to be used and utilized by the rec centers. They would control that space.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you so much.
You bet.
Any more questions from the committee? Any questions from the audience? I see no questions online. One other aspect about this building expansion as well, which I should perhaps have mentioned before, which is different to our normal capital process. Normally, new builds like this are funded from our reserve fund. This is actually going to be funded by a loan from the recreation centres to the Auto Restoration Club. And the ARC will repay that loan over a number of years. I don't know, what is it, 10-year time frame that we're thinking about?
I would just like to offer this, as far as building payment history. We have a loan, 0 interest loan with the rec centers. We finished phase 1, which is our main building, in 2016 at a cost of $898,936,000, just under $900,000. We completed phase 2, which is our paint shop and prep area, in 2019 at a cost of $399,410. The total cost of our building so far is $1,298,846.30. To date, we have paid $1,078,346.30. We have a remaining balance of just $220,000. So in short 9 years, we've been able to pay more than $1 million.
It is good, and I was privileged to sit here at a governing board meeting when the last check for over $100,000 was paid just a few weeks ago. So there is a good track record there. Yeah. So, and if there are no more questions from the committee in the audience, it's the same as with the USTA. Does the committee feel that they're ready to, any further points to add? And do we feel that we're ready to move forward, to move to a consensus as to whether we would make a recommendation on this? Yeah.
When will your club members vote on the final? Because initially, when you voted in May.
Good question. We've had 2 votes so far. We're in the process. We felt that the $40,000 for the plans was a fairly large amount, so we're allowing all of our members to vote. That voting is occurring right now through the rec center's voting site. Ends on Friday at 2 o'clock. As of this morning, I already had 172 members vote early this morning. So that vote for the 40,000, we wanted all of our membership to be able to do. Once that vote is, if it's positive, then we'll move on The plans, Carl indicated would be about 2 months to get the plans. Once we have the plans, then Carl's going to go out for some initial bids so we can kind of have an estimate of what the best building is going to cost. Right now, we're kind of all over the park because we don't really have a good plan yet with the details. We do have the metal donation, which is estimated to be between $150,000 and $400,000, depending on who's looking at the total cost. So that's a substantial donation that we don't want to miss if at all possible. We feel that we'll probably have a fairly good estimate for the club to make the final vote early next year. We expect if that vote goes through the club, that the final decision by the governing board would be probably in May of next year.
Does it make sense then for this committee to wait until after you get your member votes first, and then we could vote perhaps electronically following? Because if you were not unanimous at your first meeting, you want to make sure that you are.
My
definitely
understanding is that the governing board needs to have that vote before they decide in, I think it's November.
Yeah, I should clarify that the recommendation that we're making now is that this proceeds without us knowing the full dollar amount. And this puts the project into the planning for the future, and then when the final capital budget comes back, it will be in there. And then when more dollar amounts are known, we'll be going through the final process of approving those capital expenditures. It's just at this stage, with this being a new item, they're asking for a recommendation from us as the chartered clubs to say we recommend whether this proceed or not. And then the governing board will give direction to the general manager to include this in his capital budget planning and the project planning for the next financial year. Nancy.
Just out of curiosity, how are you guys doing with membership? Is it going up? Is it going down? Is it the same?
Our current membership varies every year. Of course, right now we're sitting at about 653 as of early this week. By every year, we wind up with very close to 700 at the end of the year. Any more comments from the committee? Does the committee feel that it's able to make a recommendation or not? I'm getting heads nodded. So we'll. Oh yes, there is. Yes, I mean, yeah. As was hinted here, the Auto Restoration Club, in order to accelerate the architectural and other structural work that needs to happen, is offering to pay now from club funds for that work to be done. So that's an expense again that the recreation centres won't have to undertake, and that's so that we can accelerate the project. And the main reason for the acceleration is to make sure that we don't miss that donation of the structural steel. We've already got over $30,000 in pledges and donations for phase 3 from our membership to date.
Yeah. So, if you like, the recommendation we're asking for is that the Charter Clubs Committee would recommend to the governing board that this move forward so it gets into the planning for the 26-27 year, and that it will be subject to. It was going to be subject to further review, obviously, when the numbers are actually known and when the budget planning process goes through. Yeah. So I'll start over the left-hand side this time, Nancy, or my left.
Yes.
John. Pat. Yes. Kathy.
Yes.
Denise. Yes. David. Yes. Nancy. Okay. Thank you. So technically now I have to write to the president and the general manager and telling them that this is what we recommend. So I will be doing that on our behalf and on behalf of the Auto
Thank you for your vote. All of our board members are anxious to answer any of your questions at any time.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. All right. So that finishes new items on the agenda. So do we have any additional comments from the committee on any topic? I'll start over with John here on the left. Anything else to add? Pat? No. Sandra?
No.
Kathy?
No.
Denise?
Just have one. From the tour we went on today at Palm Ridge, and I noticed that the upstairs track, there's no AED machine up there. And they explained that there is one downstairs.
Right.
But if somebody falls out upstairs, that could be a long time waiting for somebody to get down, get that machine. How do I proceed to put something in to have something looked in to have that?
You could put in a member comment form, but I can also relay the request through to General Manager and Sabrina. And Sabrina is, for those who aren't on camera, Sabrina is here. She's just going to the microphone at the back.
So actually, Jeff Nelson, our safety coordinator, was on that tour with us. And after we finished up, him and my supervisor, Matt Wellman, emailed each other. We actually have an extra one in stock, and we will be adding it upstairs to the walking track. So it'll be added to the list.
Instant response. There we go. Thank you very much.
My paperwork's done.
Yeah. David?
No further comment.
Nancy? Do we have any comments, issues, questions that anybody in the audience would like to raise? I see a hand raised there. If you could come down to the microphone, please. Whilst we're waiting for the member to come down here, I see no questions online either. Oh, no need to run.
I'm a busy bee.
Yeah, if you could have your name and rec card number, please.
My name is Kathy Michaels, and my rec number is 133711. And I would like to address political activity. I wondered if it could be defined what is considered political activity in the charter clubs.
It is all political activity from the railroad that's happening right now. It is anything from federal to state to within our own governing board, everything.
Okay, does that mean discussion?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if I have a particular club that isn't abiding by those policies, what would I do?
Let me know. I'm not going to ask you what club. I'm assuming you don't want to put that out there. But I have a meeting directly after this, but Laura right there can give you my contact information.
Yes, I've already tried to contact you when I was given Laura, and she was very helpful, but I still haven't gotten to the point where I get to find out what happens if they don't comply.
Well, I will reach out to them, but we need disciplinary to start the process. Are you an officer of a club?
Not now, but I was.
Okay, well, we have to take it to your officers.
Okay, and I did that. And I was not, what's the word? I don't know. I don't know what happened, but nothing.
Okay,
So.
we'll connect.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you.
Any more questions and concerns from the audience? All right, with that, I will say that our next meeting is on November the 4th. I know it's September, but this was actually our October meeting. Next meeting will be on November the 4th, and I will adjourn this meeting at 2:29. Thank you very much, everybody.